What's one really bad thing you did as a child that you kept secret for your entire life and didn't tell nobody? I'll go first. I got a lot of stories like this, but this is just one of them. So, my mama used to put me in daycare, and in my daycare, we used to do field trips and we went to the YMCA. So while we were in the pool, this one white kid comes up to me and he asked me, like, why are you black? And I was kind of embarrassed, but I wasn't mad at the kid. I was more embarrassed than I was mad. And I told him that my parents painted me every single day. And I was thinking back at the time when I scraped my knee and the skin came off and there was like no blood. It was just bone. But I didn't know that it was bone. I thought that I was just white underneath. So I was like, it's true, like I can peel my skin off and prove it. When I did that, I peeled skin off my finger and it was a lot of skin and I started bleeding really bad. So the water started getting red and the daycare people tried to get everybody out the water like there was something going on. And then once everybody was out of the water, one of the daycare people go, I'm so sorry, everybody. I lost my tampon. I need to find it. Okay, so what happened was pretty self-explanatory, but I can make a part two if you guys want.
Can't believe I'm about to snitch on myself like this. I hope they don't see this video. But okay, my best friend Alex got her phone taken in 8th grade and she learned how to text through Google. Google will give you a whole fake number and you could text people. And she taught me how to do it. So I went to visit some family in another state. And me and some cousins around my age went through my uncle's phone. And we seen that he was texting a woman although he's married. But get this, the name was under the name of Peter. Us knowing it was wrong and wanting to be some badass kid, we decided to make a fake number and be like, hey, this is Peter, I got a new number. And we were texting him while he was in the house and his wife was at work, so it was like live time for us. We were texting him from a computer, so we went into his room and was like, hey, what you doing, what you doing? Text saying, I can't believe you had a wife, I can't believe you doing this to me, all that bullshit. And he was scrambling, bitch. Oh, he was nervous. But he finally got the idea that somebody was playing on his phone, so he just stopped. And we thought everything was fine until his wife came home and they both started yelling in the room like for part 2. Alright y'all, I'm up now, part 2 to the Peter story. The reason they started yelling is because my uncle questioned my aunt thinking that she texted him acting as Peter when it was really us. So he confronted her about it. Congratulations, you played yourself. Cause it wasn't even her. If I'm not mistaken, he was just looking for somebody to blame. So as they're arguing, we feeling like we about to shit a brick because of course we're the cause of all this arguing. I mean, not really, but you know, we kind of started it. Kinda, not really. So then he brought each of his kids, and my cousins, like 5 of us, in the room one by one to ask us if we knew anything. And like some real niggas, we held it down, didn't snitch on one another. They all was like, nah, bro, we ain't do it. You could check our phones and shit, just, we ain't do it. He felt like a judge. He knew we did the crime, but he couldn't prove it, so he just let us go. He was acting a little standoffish after a couple of days after that happening because, you know, he felt like it was really us. But you can't prove it, so that's the story of me and my cousins getting my uncle caught up, watching like your phone from these kids now.
All right, yo, so this is a story that literally nobody has ever heard. Like, I've never told my brother, nobody's ever heard this story. So when I was in 4th grade, I had this teacher named Miss Walsh. I don't know why, I just felt like me and Miss Walsh had beef. So one day she was doing something on one of them projectors that had like the little lamp top like this. And I was just being bad, throwing shit. So she banged something. I don't remember what it was, but she banged something on the projector and a piece of it broke and hit me. Damn, I'm running out of time. Long story short, we went to lunch. I lied and said I had a stomachache. I had to go to the nurse. I got her water bottle out the class. I farted in it, closed the top, and I waited for her to drink water, and I was happy every day after that. So, Miss Walsh, if you see this, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mom. I could have got the feds called on you, but when I was a little kid, I discovered what porn was, and I was like, oh, wow. Why are they all so old? I want porn of someone my age. Then I searched up, like, kid porn, child porn, 12-year-old porn, and I'm like, in retrospect, those are, like, the sketchiest thing I've done. I don't do that no more.
When I was in the 2nd grade, I got Child Protective Services called on my mom by mistake. Yo, listen, just hear me out. When parents used to beat your ass back in the day, they'll beat you first and then be like, call the cops. Let their ass come get you. I don't give a fuck. They'll say that all the time. Now, when you was a kid and you heard that, you was generally scared and you kind of just shut up. Because you ain't want those people to come get you. But one day I get to class and Snotty Nose Brian, one of my classmates, is bragging to all the kids in class how those people actually came and they're cool and they give him a whole bunch of presents. So me and like 2 other kids is like, how do we get the presents? So Brian is like, just tell Miss Johnson that they don't feed you when you go home and you're scared to go home. Brian, that is not how it worked out for me, bro. CPS came and said they had reports of me being starved. My mom just looked at me and was like, does his big ass look like he's starving? Slammed the door in their face, so they put her in anger management and parenting classes for like 6 months. I swear, yo, she cursed Miss Johnson's name to the day that she died.
Okay, so I'm probably gonna get me and my sister in trouble for this, so y'all better blow this up. So growing up, we had weekends at our dad's house, and he was always passed out drunk in the middle of the day, so it was kind of free range for us. We could do whatever we wanted. So one day, me and my sister are riding our bikes around this nice townhouse gated community area, and we come across a townhouse that's in the process of being built. It's almost done. Everything inside of it is brand new, and there's no doorknobs yet. So I had the smallest risk because my sister is 4 years older than me. She told me to stick my hand through the door handle. Keep in mind, I was like 5 at the time. She was probably 9. So I unlocked the door. We go inside this house and we completely trash this brand new house. We spread mud all over the brand new white walls, all over the carpet, all over the appliances. Well, after we're done trashing this entire place, we leave. We go back the next day to check on it, and this lady shows up while we're there. My sister pulls me down behind the stairs and she finds us.
When I was around 7 years old, I found a possum in my parents' basement. I noticed the possum was moving lethargically, so I decided that it was my job as a 7-year-old to nurse it back to health. I fed it grapes, I pitched a little tent for it, I brushed it, I sang Christmas carols to it. And then one day I realized the possum is not in fact sick, it's pregnant. It gave birth to 5 babies in front of me. I helped pull one out with my bare hands. I was a full-on possum midwife. Then the possum runs away along with the babies. A few weeks later, the babies come back, just the babies. I realize this possum is dead. I start bawling because at the time I helped deliver the possum baby, I had Cheeto dust on my hands and became convinced that I killed this possum with a Cheeto dust infection. To this day, I believe that when I go to enter the gates of heaven, St. Peter will be there holding the ghost of this possum saying, "You will not get in, you possum murderer."
So I had this teacher who used to talk to me like I was stupid and just like treat me like I was inept. So one day I thought it would be really funny just to make a fake Facebook account and just like add her and message her, you know, mess around and like send to my friends and like laugh at her and whatnot. And anyway, long story short, I unintentionally ended up catfishing this woman to the point where she would tell the class about this man who's been messaging her, and like I would hear her talking to other teachers about this man, and she would not stop messaging me. And so then it was just kind of entertaining, and I just went along with it like the entire rest of the year. There would be times where I'd be like, is this too far? And then she would like call me stupid again in class, so I would just like log back into the account like, haha, who's stupid now, bitch? And anyway, yeah, this lasted like for the rest of the year, and then Catfish came out, like the show, and I was like, I cannot be on this show. So I just forgot about the account and never logged back on again.
I have too many of these, okay? And a lot of them involve my grandma's house. As you guys know, my mom used to work 2-3 jobs, and she had to sometimes leave me over there. She hated it, I hated it, it was a whole thing. But my grandma was very abusive verbally and physically. So one day I got sick of her shit. And she took like 8 medications. I'm gonna burn in hell for this. One day she was really mean to me, so I dumped out all of her medications onto the dining room table, shook them up, and then mixed them all together and started to pour them back into their various bottles, making sure that they didn't go into the bottles they were supposed to go. Thinking to myself, it don't matter which one she grabs, she grab it, oh well. Is she not supposed to take that one? Oh well, I don't care. Also thinking to myself, if she died, oh well. I was 5. Mom knows this story. The only reason she stopped is because my aunt caught me. It was like the time I tried to set the house on fire. Turning the oven on and shutting all the windows. I'm going outside and waiting. Uncle, stop that one.
I have never told anybody this because I really thought I was taking it to my grave, but with COVID and everything, I just feel like we can't leave anything unsaid. Please refer to the playground set behind me as your visual aid. When I was little, I was really shy, but I was also a piece of shit. And one day I was at a pool party and me and a bunch of other kids were up in one of these playground things right here. And one kid in particular was bullying me so hard before I even knew what bullying was. And it made me angry, but I internalized that anger. I never said it because I was so shy. But this time I was pissed the fuck off. So that kid was over here trying to get onto this rock wall, no rope, just like this one. And all the other kids were doing something else, not paying attention. So I took it upon myself to get revenge. And I kicked this motherfucker down here, plummeted to the ground, and I manipulated all the other kids to make them believe that he fell. His mom ran over and I said he fell, and the other kids agreed with me. That's what you get.
So when I was a kid, my parents kept finding porn on the computer, like so frequently that my mom put locks on the computer, like all these passwords. And I was devious, so I had a friend come over and hack the computer and give me the passwords. But my mom kept finding me on the computer, so she kept putting passwords on the computer. So eventually I convinced my parents that I was like, I need Wi-Fi. I need to be able to play Xbox 360 online, which I did use it for. But what it was really for was my parents had a Nintendo Wii, which was hooked up to the big screen. And what my parents didn't know was the Wii had a browser, which I used to watch porn in the living room like I fucking own the place. It's a good cover too, because from a distance, pulling your pud and playing Nintendo Wii look like the same thing. Someone could be like, are you masturbating? Be like, no, I'm bowling. Now follow me, you fucking idiots.
God forgive me, and please do not bash me because I was little. I'm sorry. And I feel bad to this day. So when I was in like 2nd grade, I would go to my grandmother's house, right? And the rule was not to play in the living room because I was clumsy or me and my cousins or siblings would break shit. One day I didn't obey the rule and me and my cousin were playing with the basketball in the house. So while we were playing, it's the stand where my cousin's ashes are. And I threw the ball and my cousin didn't catch it and the ashes knocked down to the floor. So I'm panicking and then I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I vacuumed up the ashes. I burned some paper to make some new ashes and then I put the ashes back in the box and never spoke on it to this day. And I feel extremely horrible growing up, but that is the worst thing I've ever done as a fucking kid. And I do get haunted sometimes because sometimes I be seeing shit. I don't know if that's my cousin, but I'm sorry.
Y'all, I was 11 years old watching porn on the family laptop. Messed around and put a virus on it. I had to throw it away. I had to get rid of the evidence. I was not going to go down for that one. Okay, so this is also around the time that we were moving out of this house. And my dad's friend David came over to help us move out one day. Bless his heart. My mom realized that the laptop was missing around that same time. She was like, David stole our laptop. And I was like, he sure did. He sure did steal it. This is my way out. And she still don't know to this day. She probably don't even like David for that very reason. But hey, not my fault. I had to do what I had to do.